Okay, we're live. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to pick it up from where Charles started this morning. Something he said about how he was always fighting with QA people. And looking at it, I don't blame him. I actually do not blame him. Uh, when you go to visit a woman that just put to bed, right? No matter what you see, the baby is fine. You don't tell a woman that her baby is not fine, right? It's the same kind of thing with developers work. They've put in their blood, sweat, and tears into making that thing come out. Then you now come from nowhere and tell them, no, your baby no make sense. It's not fine. I mean, whatever you get, take it like that. If you even get home in one piece, you should be happy. So looking at it from that end, I think I will pick it. I will start today from the point of soft skills, soft skills needed in a QA role. So why am I coming from that end? It's one thing to be technically advanced, right? You know how to find everything. In fact, you're a bug crusher. There's nothing you cannot find, and there's nothing you cannot handle. But as much as possible, if you can do all that and your communication is zero, believe me, it's going to affect your career further down the line. Everything you are going to be doing is going to be affected. Like if that means that you can't practically work with people. Your testing is fine, it's top notch, right? But if you cannot deliver your message in a diplomatic manner, that means you're going to have real issues. Oftentimes you're going to be the bearer of bad news. But as much as possible, deliver your message with grace, please. Yes, deliver your message with grace. Do not. God have mercy. I've come across people, but it's all good. It's all good. So the very first thing on the list, I know that to a very good extent, just like when people are probably on a Saturday morning in front of the reverend on their wedding day, whatever you are telling them, it doesn't enter their head. Couples they know the hear what the sermon that you're doing at that very point in time is just is you're your own, you're just fulfilling all righteousness. But as much as possible, most of the things I'm going to probably say today, you might not remember immediately after this class, but I'll say please just write down whatever it is that whatever you want to, whatever sticks, write it down. I will still try to drop a slide for this, just like I did the last time. I'll try and prepare something more like bullet points, nuggets, stuff that you can work with afterwards. So the very first thing on the list is communication, right? Communication, just like I've mentioned, as much as possible, try your best to communicate effectively, communicate with grace. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a Tom and Jerry situation with developers and QAs. Honestly speaking, you have we're all in the same team, right? We're all in the same team. We want the product to be a success. I don't think all of us will now start fighting. Forgive me, I was just about to enter Arsenal, but that one is a different case altogether. But if you as a if you're a member of a team, right, and our aim is just to let's win the trophy, whether the defender is doing well or the attackers are doing well, midfielders, our own is let's work together as a team to get what we want. So communication, communication is very, very important. The next thing I'm practically going to talk about is time management. So ordinarily, I would say above everything else, above everything else, um, this is whether you are a QA person or not, no matter the field you find yourself in. Time management is very, very important, right? It is, for me, I would even say is the most important skill, right? So, sorry, give me a minute. I want to mute my work notifications. What's the pause? Okay. So time management is very, very important. I believe most of us had gone through the course I sent earlier with the slides, right? I just want probably two people to give me a brief summary of what they got from that course. Just the first two people that indicate, yeah. Just give a brief summary. I know that most of you did not do it, but those that did it, just indicate, give me a brief summary and raise your hand, not just a thumbs up if you are. So nobody did it. Wahala, wahala, wahala. Okay.
Sorry. Let me ask. That is the Coursera link, right?
Yeah, it was a Coursera link, yes.
Okay. Sorry, 1 minute.
Okay. Adonye, okay.
Yes,
I hope
good morning.
I got it right.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
Good
pronounced it
morning.
correctly.
Okay.
The link, one, is talk about time management, prioritizing. For instance, there are things that are urgent, there are things that are of necessity, there are things that they don't look urgent, but they are very important. One of the things
Yeah.
I got from that book is learning how to prioritize, know what's important. You should not be reacting to every situation. You know what that takes make you to grow. You should have time that you use in investing in your growth. The other thing to talk
Yeah.
about again is having smart goals, setting smart goals. I think those are the most important things I took up from the book, from the course.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Olivia, okay,
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
another thing that stuck out to me was the task organization, because it's something that you guys have, emphasized so much, like in the training so far, on how to, like you said, prioritize, like know how to arrange your work as a QA, and understand, like you said now, like, if the software person is saying something, like, just know how to arrange your work, like, good, that everything is done in a very smooth transition, basically, because that might be something I might, like, I have to really work on. Like, okay, if these people are saying that is this thing, like, how do I arrange my work in a way that is going to be a smooth process? Because I'm someone that sticks to routine a lot. So if something
Yeah.
is coming from another angle, I should be able to accommodate that.
Sure. Beautiful. Okay. So both of them have spoken well, and the two of them, they have something that they will be getting from the organizers. It's something that I didn't want to indicate in the assignment that there's something for them, but they'll definitely be getting something from the organizers. So thank you very, very much. So Adwin, your hand is still up. You have a question?
I want to answer.
No. I just said the first two. No other person is answering. Thank you. Um, so going ahead, so I'm going to dwell a little bit on this time management. So the thing is, every single thing that we do, I believe that what we become and where we get to is all about what we spend time doing, right? Um, Whatever it is that I give my time shapes me, molds me, is who I become. If I spend um let's say 40 hours a week or 80 hours a week swimming, believe me, I am going to be a swimmer. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Whatever it is I portion my time to is what I become, right? And this thing, on the other hand, um, Charles, I saw your message. Yes, that's how the kingdom of God will come, and some people will miss it. But let me not digress. So, when you as an individual, this is whether you are talking about QA or not QA, right? You as an individual, whatsoever it is that you want to do, right? You should be able to apportion time properly. Most of us fall into this thing of procrastination. Most of us fall into this problem of how do I put it? We have the ginger last minute. You have 2 weeks to get something done. We will not do it. But you see, deadline is our best friend. We find out that we have the muscle and everything, the discipline to pull an all-nighter when tomorrow is when you have to submit. And there's this funny thing about work, especially in the QA field. So we've found cases where somebody will be like, I'm almost done. I've done it. I am finished. They have not started anything. God will not punish them. The time they now open their laptop, probably stand up is tomorrow morning. Then they now open laptop in the night, and this thing, test server is down. You go explain tire, because in real sense, there's nothing you can do about it, right? What you are supposed to do, you've not done, but you've been saying, I'm on it, and I'm almost done. It's remaining small. And you thought you could just come in last minute, put in 4 hours of 100% focus and just push out the distance. Probably it works for you once, it worked for you twice. One day it is not going to work for you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Some people will say breeze will blow, fire not to open. But the thing there is, as much as possible, whatever it is that we are doing, right? Whatever we are doing, we should learn to apportion time. We should learn to manage our time properly. And we, especially this period that we have our social media messing things up for us. I would say, yes, messing things up for us, because sometimes you wake up in the morning, if the first thing you do is to pick up your phone and you're still lying down, you will scroll and scroll and scroll, and the next thing you realize is like 5 minutes to it, and you've not done anything useful, that kind of thing. And God have mercy. In fact, you shall understand the situation. So as much as possible, time management is very important. Prioritize whatsoever it is that you have to do, right? That there are some things that come up and look urgent, but they are not. They are not. There are some things that you should look at the impact. Okay, this particular thing, what has the highest impact? What exactly should I do now? What's the most important thing? What can I delegate? There are some things that you wake up in the morning, it is not very, very, very important for you to start sweeping the whole place. You should do it. Cleanliness is good. But at that very point in time, given that you have just 4 hours or 2 hours before work starts, what's the most important thing to do? Get your work tools intact, get every other thing that you're supposed to do. If it's if the cleaning, you can even delegate it to someone else to do. But you know the things that you have to put at the top first. So time management. I would advise us to go back, watch the video if you have not watched. It will help you in whatever field that you find yourself in at the end of the day, right? So moving on. So the next thing I'm going to go get at is continuous learning. Yeah. So in this tech field, right? Things keep changing. They keep switching things up as much as possible. Forget our wonderful school syllabus that for some weird reason they're still teaching Fortran and C in first degree, and for some other reason that I cannot explain, everybody gets to pass through that phase of writing code on paper. Like, I don't know if you want me to write it and compile it on A4 paper, but that one is for the federal government to sort out their issues. We can't keep using old syllabus. But the thing is, in tech, things keep evolving, right? It keeps evolving. It doesn't stop. I believe me, some years back, all this ChatGPT thing was not there. Some years back, even if people can remember a little bit, that Python was not there initially. It came later. The Python everybody is using for data analytics and all that right now, it wasn't there at the beginning. Like, if I'm saying beginning, at least as a year 2000, 2005, it wasn't there. 2008, I don't even think it was there as 2008, if I'm not mistaken. So these things keep evolving. Tomorrow it's going to be something else. Next tomorrow is going to be something else. The knowledge that you've gotten today, the knowledge that you are getting here now, right? Some things would remain, some things will evolve, right? Some things are definitely going to, gravity will remain gravity. What goes up comes down, right? That remains. But there are some other things that would happen. There are some other things that will continue to evolve. Even with the gravity itself, people had to find a way to make sure that they will go up and they will choose when they will come down. That's how the aircraft thing and all that came to be. So in tech, things keep changing, things keep getting improved on. Even with the way we are doing software these days, unlike before, when software development was a thing of we have to start building and build every single thing to the end, right? And we now release. Now we have what we call the agile methodology, right? It's more like an iterative development kind of thing. You push out your MVP, you keep improving on it and improving on it and improving on it. The same thing, WhatsApp initially was just text. If you remember what WhatsApp was at the beginning, it was text. The next thing, it got to the point of multimedia sharing and all that, and now you can make calls, now you can make video calls, now you can even, like, from groups to communities to all that. Same WhatsApp that was just text initially. So that's tech keeps evolving. If you remain in one place, it's going to leave you behind. It's definitely going to leave you behind. The computers and stuff our parents used, if they don't learn, they can't use the mobile phones we use today. And believe me, that I'm pretty sure that the next set of things that are going to come in the name of mobile phones are going to be crazy, that kind of thing. So it's going to keep evolving, and we have to keep learning. Learning must never end. and bringing it down to the QA side of things, right? Tools and frameworks that would come and go, right? Some things would stay longer than the others, but they will come and they will go. But the only thing that keeps you relevant is that you adapt, right? And this, talking about tools and frameworks, is going to lead me to the next point that I want to make, right? So this point is going to be a little bit broad, being that how do I put it now? So the most important thing that you are going to have as a QA person is critical thinking, right? No matter the framework or the tools that come into play and all that, critical thinking is going to be something that you should never like put behind. So why am I saying this? There's this thing about everybody wants to do test automation. What I'm going to say now is going to sound controversial, right? So test automation, believe me, it is good. You should know it, right? But it doesn't replace manual testing. And it has never replaced manual testing. And it is not going to replace manual testing, right? So manual testing in itself is not less than test automation. So reason I'm putting this here is there's some of us that we jump into QA, we leave mastering the basics and we just want to go straight into test automation. We want to jump across everything and just land in test automation, and we just want to. Believe me, I'm not saying you should not learn it, or you will learn it, whether you like it or not. You will learn it. If you actually want to be a full, complete, well-grounded, you will learn it, right? But do not leave the basics behind. Don't leave the basics behind. Why I'm saying this is that, so your test automation is only going to be as good as your knowledge of manual testing. It might sound weird, but yes, it's only going to be as good as your knowledge of manual testing. If you do not know your manual testing properly, your test automation is going to be rubbish. If your manual testing is bad, automating it is just going to be disaster, because you are just making rubbish run faster. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So as much as possible, learn the basics. The basics, you should know it as much as possible. You will still learn automation. It is important. It's very, very important, because in real sense, the way we are going with things, at least, and let me use my own workplace for example. We are not going to spend 2 days testing all the APIs to make sure that they are working fine, right? We've written scripts that would automate those tests for us. So we will run the automation, and if anything fails, we know the exact service that is failing, and you go look into it and know why it is failing. You get? But as much as possible, for us, let me say for me right now, to automate that particular, let's say API, manually, I should know what I'm doing. before automating it. Oh, probably I would have to let me say, do a login first, get a bearer token from there and use it in the headers that I'm using for other things. If I'm not doing my manual testing properly, the automation in itself will just be rubbish. So as much as possible, let us not neglect the basics of testing, the basics of manual testing, the basics of quality assurance. Then your automation is now what is going to be like a, how do I put it? The icing on the cake that makes the whole thing beautiful. So you will still learn it. For those of you that would say, thank God they've given us opportunity to just put aside coding. You will code. You will code. But the thing there is that at least it's going to be easy. Not as easy as I'm making it sound when I say just easy, but the good thing is you have people that can lead you on the journey, right? That will make it easier for you. Some people had to go through it alone and all that, and they passed through the tough side alone. But as much as possible, when you have a network, now this brings me to the next point. When you have a network is very, very important. We share resources within ourselves, opportunities within ourselves, we share it with each other. If for some reason I have something that is bugging me that I can't figure out, my madam is here, I will reach out to her, please, do you understand this thing? Please unblock me. That's as much as possible. This is not, tech is not one of those careers that you go and do solo. You can't do it alone at all. Whether you are a QA person or even a developer, or you can't do it alone. You have to be part of a community that even being part of the community alone would ginger you, because you are reasoning with people of like minds with like goals. And there's this thing that what was that thing again, that if you are around, if you have 4 friends that are doing well or doing stuff, you will be the okay. How do I put it? If you have 4 millionaire friends, you'll be the 5th millionaire, something like that. I can't remember the quotes properly, but the thing is, everybody rubs off on each other, that kind of stuff, and it helps out. In the long run, it helps out. It's also these people that are the ones that are going to come and put this thing for you on your LinkedIn and be like, yeah, so this person knows what he's doing. That people that give all those what's the word? It's not appraisal. I'm trying to remember the word, but you shall understand what I mean. When someone recommends you.
Recommend, okay.
Yeah, recommendations. Yeah, thank you, Olivia. So they're the ones that will give recommendations. They're the ones that would, as much as possible, have a good network. Even for those that probably will start getting new jobs and start leaving their old workplace. Don't live like some people would do on TikTok. Their HR, bye-bye. Please live in a way that you can still come back when they say get a reference from your former workplace. You can go there and say, I need a reference from people you worked with before. That kind of thing. So I've mentioned communication. I've mentioned time management. I've also mentioned networking, right? So networking is really, really, really important. It's beyond networking events. Networking is way beyond networking events. You can't do networking effectively just at a networking event. That point is that's just where people exchange contacts. Believe me. But the real networking starts when everybody has gone home. You know that you can go for a conference today and probably out of 5 people that you exchange contacts with, maybe is one person that you keep talking with. Is one person that you continue the flow with. So networking is not just that I have your number and the number is now on my status, on my WhatsApp, and every other day I'm seeing your status. When I see your status, at least to make you remember that I exist, I can comment on the status and all that. So don't just stop at collecting number. It was the mistake we used to make those days. We just go and pack phone number from like 30 people at one QA conference. Probably an NGA STQB conference that is holding at Radisson Blue. We'll go and pack all the phone number from everybody and nothing. But if you consciously and intentionally pick 1 or 2 people and follow up with those ones, I believe it's better than having a crowd of whatsoever it is in your contact list. So yeah, so I've mentioned networking, I've mentioned continuous learning, right? I mentioned continuous learning. So the few other things that I will touch on, because the next part is I would now want us to jump into resume building and common manual testing interview questions, right? But there are some things that I just want us to touch on in itself. These ones might not necessarily be your soft skills, right? But there are things that I believe everybody here should know. And it's something that's on my own part to helped me. So the very first thing I'm going to put out there on these other things that I'm about to mention is always have a backup network. MTN can disappoint in the middle of something very important, right? Always have a backup network. For me right here, I have SpectraNet, MTN, and forget Airtel. Those ones, I've given up on them. I'm not recharging Airtel again. But yeah, always have a backup. I've found myself in situations where you need to quickly switch to another network. And if you don't have that, that means that interview that you have prepared so well for, you can't do anything again. You're stuck and you've lost that opportunity. So yeah, that's it's a nice to have, right? The other thing is so for us in the QA field, believe me, everything that we're going to do to a very good extent is going to be unnoticed. Yeah, when everything is working fine, nobody remembers that QA exists. It's the day that something fails, everybody now says, who tested it? You get? So I just want you to prepare your mind for that kind of thing. That yeah, things like that could occur. And you'll be like, so all these other months and weekends and nights I've been slaving and putting everything in place. It's just today that one thing slipped and everybody wants to cut my head. But yeah, there are things that will probably go wrong. And the thing is, QA is, you can't be 100%, like there's no application, none, not on Facebook, that is bug free. right? There's no application that is bug free. But the thing now comes to making sure that the bug that is out there is not one major bug. It's not a showstopper, right? Whatsoever it is that we are going to be doing on our end, let us make sure that the critical bugs don't get out there. There's no application. Even this is a question that comes up in interviews. If somebody says that, can you get an application bug free? Believe me, there's no application that is bug free. Anybody that should ask it out, the answer is no. No application is bug free. Have that at the back of your mind. There's no bug free application. So, but the thing there now is, let it not now be those ones that customers will come and line up and say that their money has disappeared, or things that could damage reputation and all that. And this brings me to another point where it is not every bug that requires fixing. I don't know if you heard what I said. It's not every bug that requires fixing. I'm going to explain. In a situation where let's say we already have a build, a pre-app store build. Everything works fine, right? Then you discover one typo inside settings. That is not enough for you to hold back the entire thing and start generating a new build because of typo inside settings module. That can wait. The next iteration rolls out. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. So that you how do I put it? We work with deadlines. Most of the time, there's nobody that's just going to hold their hands and be like, whenever you are ready, roll out. We work with deadlines. There's a whole lot of things that are competing for resources and all that. Then you want to start generating build and everybody starts doing regression afresh because of you found one tiny thing that has little or no significance, sort of. So yes, you spotted it. It's good. You have eagle eyes. It is good, right? But just like in that course, it's not everything that you are going to attack head on. There's some things that you put for later. This thing, okay, just create a ticket for it, put it in the backlog so that when we are starting the next sprint, it's part of the tasks and we clear it. You get? So it's not everything that you are going to now press down and be like, we'll fix it though. Please. It's not. The other thing that I wanted to mention, let me get across. So yeah. So there's this other thing that's going to happen a whole lot. Like I said, we work with deadlines, right? They are going to sometimes come to you and tell you that you need to test quickly and all that. Resist the urge. This thing, it was I got this particular thing from someone I look up to in the QA field, Chibuzo. He said, resist the urge to cut corners as much as possible. Resist the urge to cut corners. The truth of the matter is that the minute you start cutting corners, Baba, you are going to continue cutting corners. If you did it once, believe me, developers, they will want you to do it again. If you cut corners for them once, you will continue to cut corners till you leave that team. So stand your ground. There are times when, yes, tell them, see what is feasible, see what's not feasible. And even when you have a deadline, that's also when you prioritize. This is why I wanted you guys to watch that video, that course. This is when you prioritize. If I give you the full application right now and tell you test it end to end, everything, right? At that point, you know the critical modules. You know that you have to look at the payment side. You also have to look at the part that has to do with them coming in. If you can't log in or you can't sign up, yeah, the app is useless. And if at the end of the day, let's say it's something that has to do with payments and all that, if you cannot make the payments for the business that has the app to get their money, the app's also useless. You get now? So those critical parts of the application should be your focus. Let's say you have a very tight deadline. The things that have to do with onboarding and bringing somebody in, so the person can do the thing and the person, you can collect money from the person. Focus on those things. Let those things work properly. How fine the cart looks and all that can now come later if we have extra time. But in a situation where you have time constraints, right? You go for the critical things, prioritize, and focus on those things. So the last thing I'm going to touch, so that the next, so that once it's this thing, I will now use the next 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes to get over it. Is so documentation is important, right? But most of the time it is incomplete. Most of the time it won't cover everything. It's not going to explain to you word for word every single thing, right? As much as possible, I know we are all smart, and we can read stuff and deduce, but please, assumptions are very expensive. Never assume anything, right? If your business analyst or product manager like gives a requirement and all that, and some things are not fully stated, don't fill in the blank spaces for them. Do not ask questions. Anything that doesn't sit well with you, probably somebody's explaining something and the thing it's not making sense. It's not your boyfriend comes back home and he's telling story about how the traffic did this thing, but you yourself, you passed that same road and you came back early and this thing. Ask questions. Where did you go? What did you do? Who were you with? Same thing with this thing, your work. If somebody is telling or gives you user story, user story does not add up. Ask questions. Don't assume that let's say for this thing to happen, these are the things that are supposed to happen and they've already happened. Let the person indicate that, oh, in this case, this person has already onboarded with NIN, or a person has already onboarded with BVN before doing this. Don't just assume at any point. Don't fill in blank spaces for anybody. Let them fill in their own blank spaces. So I think with these few points of mine, I'm still going to drop this thing. I'm still going to drop slides just to help us with the nuggets, put them all together in a constructive manner, so that it's something you can always make reference to. Leisure reading, sort of. So yeah, before I jump to the next part, which I believe is not going to take much of our time. I'll just give opportunity for one question or two questions before I proceed to the second part. Nice. Okay. Films, please go ahead. Ask a question.
So, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so now for the last part,
Yeah.
for documentations, okay.
Yes.
Sometimes you might get to work with team members who may not be expressive even in their documentation.
Yeah.
They might not be really expressive.
True.
For the sake of not being assumptuous, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For anything, right? And you
Yeah.
now
Did I lose you? Can any other person hear him?
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe Olivia can go there when he's back.
Yes. Yeah.
balance that out so
Okay,
that
yes, come back.
yeah.
We missed. The last thing we heard was someone that's not expressive enough, and so wanted to know the rest of it. I didn't hear you.
oh,
Okay, seems like your network is not very wonderful. So probably type your question. Type your question. Yeah, I think it will be better that we type your question so that we can take it from there. Olivia, please go ahead.
Okay, so when you said that, like, it's not like every small thing that we would flag and hold the project down. So in that kind of situation now, so if we have like if it's like a typo, like just for lack of better examples, is it not something
Yeah.
the software developer can quickly do? Or if it's not, because like I said, like that tax, the tax organization is something that, you know, was like it was talking to me because I'm sort of
Yeah.
a perfectionist. So my eye will not leave that thing until it is good. You
hello, can you
understand?
hear
So
me?
like, but
Hello, can you hear me?
so
Yeah. Films, hold on. We'll get back to you. Let's just finish with Olivia. Don't mind.
so like in that case, like we should just minutes like put it down and
Yeah.
make so this scenario you're saying is before the app goes live or whatever it is goes live, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Because when you said it, I was like, are we going to allow it to for the like consumers to see that there's a typo? Because I'm somebody that when I'm
Okay. I get what you
somewhere,
mean.
if I enter an office, I'm very observant. I'm looking for
Mm.
things that are not looking for me,
Mm.
you know, that kind of thing. So so I think maybe me being somebody that likes the thing to be like correct to
Yeah.
the T,
Yeah.
that's why that tax organization like stood out for me, like be flexible, Olivia.
Yeah.
So all this is happening in when we haven't yet, the stuff is not live.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
let's say for instance now, like the example I gave, right? There's that typo. Mm. You didn't catch the typo when the test build was released. Mm. You now finally caught it after you got your glasses back from Hepzibah, right? And you now saw the tiny typo. The typo is not right in front of you. You have to like go through, let's say, enter settings. Inside settings, you now see one thing like that they didn't spell it properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that thing in itself, having it in a pre-app store build. Why I'm saying that you are not going to hold back everything. There are some changes that, yes, they look very, very straightforward, but are we going to start creating a new build because of O became U inside settings? I don't know if you get the context. I'm not saying don't spot things. We will spot them, right? But at that point that we are rolling out, something of that nature can be prioritized. It can come in as a hot fix with something else, like stuff that's not when we are doing the general, okay, app is rolling out right now and we now hold everybody, tell them, wait, there's a place where O is supposed to be. Now, developer, everybody go back, go and generate a new build, because of generating a new build on its own is work. You can ask those of them that have been doing it for a while in our midst here. That one on its own is work to consume RAM and everything and all that. So so that's why I would say that it's not that you are letting it go. To make sure that we do not miss it, we create a ticket for it. And that ticket will must definitely be addressed. Right? And that's why we create a ticket for it, so that we don't miss it. And something else that I usually advise is whenever you spot something, usually I would say add it to your test script too. No matter what it is, just add it to your test script so that we can always go back to check that in. Even 1,000 years later, we can always look at that area. Is this thing fine? You get?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think for what Films was asking earlier about somebody that is not expressive enough. There are some people that they might not know how to write, but they can talk. Get them into a meeting, schedule a meeting, talk everything that you want to talk from beginning to end. Right here, right now. There are some people that if you tell them to write, they might not write very, very well, but tell them to explain everything, right? They will explain it with their mouth as good as possible. And if for any reason the person is also not explaining it properly, that means that the person should not even, like, you are a policeman. You can drag anybody. That's what you are. You can drag anybody. The person should be able to explain it so well that anybody can work with it. Because if you as QA, you're not understanding it, that means that the developer himself might go and build something that was not expected. Like everybody comes in, reads it, and they all have their own interpretation of it. So as much as possible, everything, try to get them to explain it to the extent that everybody has a perfect understanding of what's going on. It's better that everybody understands what is happening as it should, and we scope the thing properly before even writing one line of code. Instead of we have written a million things down, like we've done a lot of development just for us to now realize that we are doing the wrong thing. It will frustrate everybody, even the developer. Everybody will get frustrated. So it's always best that everybody gets to know what we are doing properly before we even start. That's also one of the reasons why we advocate for shift left testing, right? Where testing doesn't start from that point of developer has finished and he pushes it to QA bucket and you now pick it up. Testing should start from requirements analysis. The requirements that you put here, is it making sense? You understand? Your user story is it actually a story or a concussion? So that in itself, if we can understand it properly, believe me, if everybody understands requirements as it should be, it makes work easy for everybody, and we'll all be fine. Daniel, Christopher, make it quick. Let's so that we can move to the next thing and see how we'll go. So Daniel, how far? You want to drag me? Mike, your mic is not very clear. Sorry, Daniel, your mic is not very clear.
Okay, hold on. Is it better now?
Yeah, you're better now. You're better now.
Right.
Now you sound like someone from channels.
Okay, so
Okay.
I have a lot of questions actually, but I'm going to make it very quick.
Wow.
Yeah, today's class,
Okay.
like I feel like today's class was really made for me because I really needed this. And again, like I like the way you explained some of the concepts from the very beginning, and yeah, also corrected most of the things that I thought was right because yeah, I've been doing QA for about a year now, and there are some of the things that you explained, and you know, at first I got it all wrong, but like the way you explained it made total sense. So I have a few questions, though. I have a few questions, and
That's all.
yeah, so I want to know this is like let's say based on like testing fundamentals, right? Now,
Testing what?
how for like testing fundamentals.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Like how do we like when it comes to like writing test cases, how do we like prioritize those test cases when there's like very limited time, like as a
Right.
final, like how do you prioritize your test cases after you've written them when you have limited?
Prioritizing them. Okay. So how do we prioritize our test cases after we've written them? So ordinarily, how do I put it now? This in itself would go a little further, but let's say, work with me. Let's say you are my QA manager right now. That means you're going you practically do the test plan, test design, and everything. Sometimes it will fall on you to do it yourself, right? When you yourself you draw up your test cases, you draw it up without thinking about prioritizing anything, right? But I would say when you are drawing up your test cases, I would say put them in modules.
Okay.
Don't lump everything up in one place, if you get what I mean. So let's say view your application like it's several components in one. So
Yeah.
let's say we have sign up.
Yeah.
Sign up, that is somebody coming in for the very first time. You can have test cases for sign up. Let them sit on their own. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Login, you have test cases for login. Let them sit on their own. Let's say we have user management, those things that have to do with probably settings for the user and all that. Let them sit on their own, right? You depending on how the application is, right? But you understand what I mean? Every like split it into parts.
Yeah.
So that if for some reason the test you now want to do, you are constrained by time. You know the most important part of the application, the part that if something is wrong, everybody like is a showstopper.
Yeah.
Right? Pick up those modules. You understand now? So it's not a case where you have lumped everything together and when we cannot now sift through.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Cases for you, keep it separate. Cases for this, keep it separate. Keep all of them separate. for let me say if let me say you are using Excel sheets for your test cases. You know, the entire document can be XYZ application, but you can have different sheets inside
Friendship.
it.
Yes.
Exactly. One sheet can be that module, the other sheet
Mm.
can be module B, the other sheet can be module C, like so that you just when you want to do that targeted kind of thing, just go to everything that has to do with checkout and payment.
Mm. Yeah.
We just go straight to it and do it as it should be.
Mm.
Anything that has to do with this, just go straight to it and do it as it should be. But if you have lumped everything up into one sheet, into one document, into one place, now doing that targeted testing becomes a problem for you. In
Exactly.
fact, that in itself now makes your your test case management. In fact, it's something that I probably later we can discuss it. You can message me. Test case management in itself, both your test case management and test data management, those things are quite important. There are things that we can look at later, but it's something that helps you during your testing. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. You did. Thank you. I did not even know like putting different writing different test cases for different features was like
Yeah.
we can for like it's actually easier the way you explain because I'm mostly used to having everything on one sheet. So I have
Yeah.
it one and then ID and all of that different modules. So
Yeah.
thinking about it now, it's very easy for me to find it because it's direct. When you know that okay, this one is priority, you can just go direct to it to the module and just take it off from there and work on it. So it makes total sense. Thank you very much. But I have one more question. I have
Okay.
one more question. In the industry now, what is the most testing tools that you use like currently now in the industry, in the testing industry?
In the testing industry. So one thing I will tell you is so the industry is beautiful. But one thing that is constant, whether you are in fintech, banking, insurance, products, whatsoever it is, postman is very important.
Yeah.
You get postman
Yeah.
is very, very important. Do not like if you can't get good grasp of postman, please go and learn it
Uh,
as
I,
much as
I
possible.
started even learning it about 2 months ago actually. So yeah, I know how important it is. I know it's something that is very useful, and I know like I think there are some other ones that we use, like let's say
Yeah,
for
so
Jira too. Then
yeah,
we use
yeah. So when it now comes to your let's say task and bug triage stuff and task management, right? Some people use Jira, some other people use Azure boards. So those ones are now, but the thing is that the concept is roughly the same, right?
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those project management tools, the concept is roughly the same. And if you can use Jira properly, I believe that transitioning to Azure boards wouldn't really be a problem. The only person that might have a little extra work to do is just the person that's doing the integration, because there's this thing that they get to do where, let me say, a task right now. If that task is merged, you can see that the status on the board there is merged.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Yeah, you're not just creating tasks, and so it probably that might just be where there'll be some differences in integrating it to your veteran control systems and all that. But yeah, it's you can if you have a good understanding of Jira, moving on to a place where there is robots will not really be a problem in itself. But yeah, I think majority would use Jira. Yeah, majority would use Jira. Just a few people that's probably because of they are in the Microsoft ecosystem and all their stuff is just Microsoft, so they might just have that as robots. Yeah. So yeah. So, but I know to some extent where your head is going to now is when you asked about tools, your head was going to which automation tool should I learn? Which one makes more sense? Abby?
Actually, I was stuck between Postman and linear. But then
So
again, I realized that I think uh, like as a manual tester, you
yeah.
can you can work well with Postman. Like you don't really
So
have to understand coding. Although I
yeah.
am taking JavaScript classes too as well, though, but like you don't really have to understand uh coding like that to work with Postman. You can manually log
Yeah,
in.
you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. In fact, how do I put it? So you can still use Postman for automation.
Automation, yes, yes, you can.
Yeah,
You can use
good,
automation as well.
good.
So yes,
So so, so as much as possible, Postman should be something is non-negotiable,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
non-negotiable. You must know Postman. Then every other thing will be added
mm,
to what you have. And when it now comes to all the automation, this and that, sometimes some people could work 5 years plus
mm,
without doing automation, right? Some people,
yes,
even if they do automation, they might do it in a different form, in a
mm,
totally different form. And this is all probably because of the stack of the company that you are working with.
okay,
You understand? I I can find myself in a place where what they are not using Selenium, they're not using
mm,
Cypress, they're not using any of those things. They're using something totally different. Somebody can just wake up and say that what their own company is using is Catalan, playback,
exactly,
record and playback, that kind of thing. So everybody with their own, it depends on where you find yourself. But
yeah,
I think if there's any other question on this, you could reach out to me and
all
we
right,
could we could discuss it. I don't want to make the class too long. I know some people are going for Owambe here. It's
all right,
Saturday.
thank you. Uh,
Yeah. So I don't keep anybody from eating free rice today. Um, so I will jump into the next thing. Um, the next part being what, where did I drop this thing? Okay. God have mercy, bro. Please forgive me. I think I misplaced. Okay, sure, yeah. So I'll be jumping straight into resume building tips for testers and common manual testing interview questions. And so where should we start from? So I'm going to practically just go straight to the resume building tips uh, for testers. Then we'll come back to films. I can see your hand. We'll come back to you later. Let's wrap up. Then when we're now doing the final questions to close up, we can handle everything together. Agreed? Um, so for resume building tips, so the very first thing I would point out here, same for you, Esther. I think I just saw what you put in the chat. So so for the resume building tips, the very first thing that I would want to say, please, and please, as much as possible, is whatever you put in your resume, be able to defend it. Whatever you write inside that resume, be able to defend it as much as possible. Some of us, we have put all sorts of things inside there. And by the time we now go for interviews, the point is that the person interviewing you has a copy of your resume in front of him and is asking you questions. So yes, as much as possible, you have to put your best foot forward. But whatever it is that you are putting there, please, please, and please, whatever tool you write to, whatever programming language you put there, please be able to defend it. I beg. Because I think that's the part where a whole lot of people have gotten it wrong, and they now give the rest of us a bad name when we now want to look for foreign job, because they'll be like, Nigerians, don't mind them, all of them, they're scamming us, that kind of thing. They'll now be like, on a normal day, they will write, they can do this and that and that and that, and when it now, you give them coding interview, the person cannot even initiate variable, that kind of thing. So please, as much as possible, there are some things that I see and I tell myself, how possible is it that you are very good with Java and at the same time you are very good with .NET C#? I don't know, but there are some things that bust brain when you see them inside this thing. You don't tell yourself, this person is capping. There's no wala. But I'm not saying it's impossible, but I mean, you have 2 years, 3 years experience in tech. How deep would you have gone that you mastered the two? I mean, it's only if after learning alphabets and reading, the next thing studying was coding. But yeah, so it's something that I would say when it comes to our, please be realistic, be as realistic as possible. And yes, you can write all the good things. You can, I mean, put out, advertise yourself. There's nobody that will sell your market better than you, right? On a normal day, if you go out, if you go to market and somebody tells you the price of this thing is 5K, will you tell him, let me give you 6K? Or will you tell him, let me give you 4? So normally, you are the one that you would have to market yourself as much as possible. Every other person out there is not going to say, you put your this thing at 5K. In fact, let me increase it for you and give you 7. No. So market yourself very, very well. But at the same time as you are marketing yourself, please be able to defend what you are putting there. I've seen some LinkedIn profiles that some people call themselves senior QA, and you see all the things that they have put together inside their experience, and by the time you now have probably a short interview with them, you'll be wondering, so what were you doing in these other places that you said that you have experience? There's a difference between someone knows what he's doing and it's just a interview fever or tension that is his problem. But there's some people that you interview and you just realize that you know, follow that kind of thing. So as much as possible, we should defend what we have written on our CV. We should be able to defend it, be able to say something about everything and everything about something, right? I think that's the best way to put it. Be able to say something about everything and everything about something. So that's the first part. Be able to defend what's on your CV. Secondly, as much as possible, I will add a sample CV to that slide I'm going to drop with you guys. So as much as possible, there are some things that you shouldn't indicate in your CV, right? People, those days when we did not know something, we'll go and write our full address with local government and everything down to our doorstep. We'll even put our date of birth, put the mail, female and this and that, and like write, God have mercy, write 1,000,001 things inside there. No, please keep it short and simple. Keep it short and simple. First and foremost, they don't need your date of birth. Nobody wants to see your date of birth. Don't put it there, so you don't cause any bias. Don't put your gender also, right? Your address, keep it to a minimum. Highest, if whatever you are doing, you can just put Lagos, Nigeria, bottom, right? So that whether it is you are in Nigeria or you are abroad or wherever it is, just you don't need to tell us you are in Bagada or you are in this thing, Shomolu West or whatever it is. I really don't know, but don't give us all those details. Just put your basic stuff. And the other thing there is for your CV, please, if you can minimize it to maximum of 2 pages. Maximum. If you can make it 1 page, good. And when I say make it 1 page, I'm not saying you should make the font to be as tiny as something that nobody can read. No, still use your normal font, but maximum of 2 pages. Right? That maximum of 2 pages. Reason is people are going through these CVs, let's say manually. Although yes, sometimes we could use AI to just do the initial sorting. They'll just put it in, and the keywords, if you don't have those keywords, you just dump everything, right? So at least when you get past the initial sorting, then the part where it's now a human being that is going through the CVs, right? Don't give them something bulky. Once you give them something bulky, the person is going to just next. You understand? But give the person something easy. Like once I look at it, once I can tell, okay, this is where this is your experience, these are your skills, this is certification. Basically, like when I look at the CV, the things that go through my head, sometimes I need to look at the name. My head just goes to even your executive summary. Share that initial part where you go and write, I am this, I am that, I am a lion of the tribe and everything. That one's your business. The initial set of things that we look at is your experience, your skills, probably that skills and tools, and if there's any certification is a plus, that kind of thing. If what you are putting there is not coherent, believe me, it will be tossed aside, that kind of thing. So, and to get past that initial phase where the computer is sorting it out, do not have one generic CV. Some of us have one generic CV that we used to submit for everybody. Like anybody that just, take it. Give me your CV, take it. Read through the job description. Read through the job description. What are they looking for? What are the tools they're looking out for? You understand? Sometimes you can have 2 years experience and say that apply for something of 3 years experience if you know what you're doing. You get? But the thing there is, read what do they want. Oh, these people, they are using this, they are using that, and this is what they are doing and all that. Fine and good. Tailor your CV to carry their keywords. Right? Tailor your CV to carry their keywords. There are some keywords when you see them, you will know. Let's say, for instance, somebody says this, that, Jenkins, blah, 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 JavaScript, Node.js. Let your CV carry the keywords that they are looking for. And make sure that those is not just that you carry their this thing and put in your own CV and cannot now spend what you are putting. So as much as possible, yes. Write it, make it short, concise. There's this thing too that when we are right now experience, right? And don't just say XYZ technologies from June 2021 to August 2024 and just end there. Write a little bit, like if it's 1, 2, 3 bullet points, what you did there or what you achieved there. You understand? So I've seen some people write some really nice ones, like when probably something like being SUG president or campus something, or even what's this thing again? This thing that I kept avoiding, but somehow I still did my clearance. CDS, CDS president or something like that. That kind of thing. You can put in some of the, as long as you have the space to put it. When I say let your CV not be too long. If you are probably a first time person, you have not you don't have experience that much. Probably you have one internship here and this one there. You can now add those voluntary things that you did that speaks for you, that oh, you did this kind of thing, you achieved this with this one, and you can add that to your CV. Yes, as much as possible. I've said it, don't make your CV long, please. Do not make it long. Do not make it long. So I'm going to jump straight into sorry. I'm going to jump straight into so with that CV part out of the way, I'm going to ask a few what I'll call interview questions. Those questions, they come in very, very funny manners. How do I? And there was one that I read somewhere wait. There was one that I read somewhere. I'm trying to find it. Yeah. So if somebody gets to ask you, why do you want to work here? What do you say? If anybody has an answer, please just the first person to respond, just ask, give your answer. Let's say I have you're interviewing to come and join my company right now. Let's say I have a company and I ask you, why do you want to work here? What would be your response? Yeah, go ahead.
More like you love to serve and also
okay, go ahead. You're already speaking.
Yeah, you like to serve
I can't
and
hear
give. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I said more like you want to serve and also add value, give a value and improve your skill while you're working with them. So you serve and also give your value and improve your personality, your skill as you serve with them.
Okay. If I may ask, what do you do? Because it looks like you are this. What do you do if you don't mind? If you don't mind sharing. Hi, films. What do you do?
I do a few things. I do cinematography, and architecture, and at the same time I also do software.
Okay, and it seems like you interfaced with customers a lot, that you know how to sweet talk people. So you just said.
What did you say?
I said you've interfaced with customers a lot, that you know how to sweet talk people. want to add value, you want to do, you just had the right answer, you shall give. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Dumevi, can we get a response?
Okay, hi, good morning. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming
good
it's
morning.
for a role for a QA, right? So
Yeah.
okay, so what I'm going to say is I like your product. I like the solution you're bringing, like the particular pinpoints, because I would have researched on your company. So the particular pinpoint you're solving, I like it, right?
Mm.
It's something that's personal to me. Like, it's something I would use because I'm experiencing that, and I've looked at the solution, and it's something, I would want to be part of, right? And then I'm someone that is very, very, particular about delivering, good customer experience. So I would want to work with you so that I would be able to optimize, the product and make customers enjoy it better.
Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Goodness, you didn't tell me that these are people are like this.
I actually dropped a message now. I said,
I
now
swear.
politicians,
Now politicians, food is God.
that's really wonderful.
Okay. That yeah. That's fine. That's fine. I think yeah, both people answered well. But what I wanted to jump at is before you get to interview with anybody, please research the company, right? Research the company, know about the company, what they do, and all that, so that an interview in itself, it might sound cliche, but it should be a situation where they are interviewing you, you are also interviewing them, right? Because if an interview is complete when you get to also ask your own questions, right? And it also shows that the person that you are invested, right? You really want to know. You actually took time to actually look into them as they were also looking into you, right? So the thing there is, as much as possible, right? As much as possible, a company you applied, truth, let's tell ourselves the truth. Sometimes we see things on LinkedIn or wherever, we just put in the application before we even know what the company does. All we know is that they said that they are looking for entry level, this, that. I take it, we fire this thing and give them. But somehow they now reach out to you because you've packaged yourself well, and they now reach out to you for an interview or something like that. Truth be told, please go and research the company, know what they do, know what their product is. Even if it's if it's a startup and whatever it is that they've been doing, try to know what their background story is, that kind of thing, before you even jump into the interview. At the same time, you would also avoid jumping into a company that are scam, that kind of thing. So yeah, that makes sense. You guys answered well, honestly speaking. I mean, you guys are smart. My God, politicians. Okay, so the other question that I would ask right now is, this one comes up to describe a time that you probably faced a challenge, and how did you handle the challenge? Can anybody answer? Yeah, Charles, please go ahead.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Lucas, can you repeat yourself again?
Describe a time that you faced a challenge at work and how you handled it.
Okay. Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I was speaking from personal experience. I once had a challenge in a company I worked for, and it turned out we were kind of two devs on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only dev who was actually a hardcore developer. The other one was
Mm-hmm.
more a no-code developer. So it was actually a very tricky situation at that point in time because we were actually working on a blockchain, NFC precisely. And then
Mm-hmm.
we had situations whereby it was JavaScript and React. So I was supposed to actually fix stuff there because it was like you or the project is not going to fly. And then it was very tricky because at this point in time, everybody on the call team were expecting me to actually come up with a solution. And at that point in time, I didn't know what to do. Like I was kind of like, it wasn't something we saw coming. It was like an unforeseen situation. And at that point in time, it was research. Research actually helps me. I just had to dive into documentation. I was eating back then, AI wasn't there, it was more of Stack Overflow. I was eating documentation. That point in time where you have to learn this stuff because you
Yeah.
ask in line, you get. So it wasn't like there wasn't like a one size fits all kind of situation where okay, this particular situation I've experienced it before and I can use what I had, my experience from that to suit here. It was like I have never experienced that before. Like everybody, the NFT was getting minted, like the artist is already drawing and everything. But right now you have to build your blockchain, and we already told the community and everybody that okay, we are launching so and so dates, and everybody there's already a JavaScript timer on the website which you built already.
Mm-hmm.
And you said this particular product will be launched at so and so time, and everything because then it was still NFC was still fairly new, into the blockchain space. So there wasn't like a very detailed documentation of okay, you can use this and do so. Everybody was at that point in time still. This was like back in 2021. So everybody was like still getting their foot on. So at that point in time, all I did was documentation. It wasn't easy, it seems very straightforward now I'm explaining it, but then it was like my ass was on the line. Everybody was like, hey, we're having a community meeting. Because you gave an experience wherever you said you will tell your team that okay, I'm on it, it's done, everything is ready.
Yeah.
You yourself know that bro, you're still battling issues that you can't explain because every other person on the team doesn't actually understand what you're passing through at that point in time, and the other developer there isn't actually hardcore, so he doesn't really he can explain, he can understand the pressure you are, but he can't understand the logic you're trying to explain to him. So but as God may have it, it was just research reading, documentation, and that actually opened me up to a lot of experience. Just that particular situation, that particular season, actually opened me up to a lot of experiences, or more, I would say more of learning that I won't have actually learned on a normal traditional situation whereby everything was going very well. Because at this point in time, I was forced to actually learn even way beyond what I needed at that point in time. So it was, looking back to it now, it was actually a very good experience because it actually toughened me up, especially working under pressure. So it's an experience that I won't actually forget in a long time. Okay.
That's nice. So hmm, okay, okay. So what I would say is just the way he attacked the question. So such questions, the the process, if you actually took time to break it down, you'll see that first thing he did was he briefly described the context, like the situation that they found themselves inside, right? And this is called the STAR approach, where you do the situation, the task, the action that was taken, and the result, right? So you give a brief on the context, like paint a picture, right? And the task, what was your responsibility in this situation that we found ourselves in, right? Then what action did you take? And what was the result of the action, right? So let your answers when you're discussing things that have to do with oh, how did you handle a challenge, or how did you do this, or that kind of thing, try to just break it into these 4 parts. Give a context of what was the situation, what was the task that you were to handle, like in that situation, what was your task, what action did you take, and what was the result. So Esther, in 1 minute, give us your STAR approach to your challenge. Esther, if you're speaking, you're muted though. I know your hand is up. I can see it on my screen.
Okay, yeah. I think Charles did a great job on that too because he was using real life experience to
Yeah.
answer the question. What I wanted to say was because maybe we don't have a real life experience. What I wanted to do is I've actually been to a lot of interviews, and how to answer this kind of question. First, you need to look for a previous situation, a previous project, something
Yep.
you've done. Then
Mm-hmm.
you get it at maybe something where you identify a root cause, how you reported, then the action you took immediately, and then the expected result. So I would just say what I do mostly in such kind of interview question, I pick a real life challenge I faced, I show ownership, and then I focus on the actions that led to a positive outcome.
Okay. So the thing there, Sha, is that whatever story that you tell, we are not going to go and verify if you are telling the truth or not. You get, so tell a good story. Do you understand? Whatever story you want to tell a good story. You can take
But
me
this is
anywhere.
a story everybody could relate to, Abby.
Yeah. Something that they can relate to. Yes, something they can relate to. But just tell a good story. I'm not going to come to your company to come and ask them, did Esther do this one or do that one? Nah. No problem. Thank you very, very, very much. Yes, the art of storytelling. Storytelling is important. Even for those of us that are going to establish our own companies in the near future, you should be able to tell a good story. That's what will hit your investors for them to bring money. Films, hit me.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Lucky enough, I'm glad that my field enables us to be able to negotiate with clients and be able to sell ourselves.
Yeah.
One aspect I usually do is I'm not boasting, but I'll just say I have never lost an interview. For every interview I've gone, I get the job instantly. Only on cases where they could not pay me, that I do not get the job.
Should I send you my account number?
Because I understand what they call the people market, okay? So
Yeah.
anytime I'm going to address and tell them a story, I tell them a story according to the problem I've seen in the company. So if I want to apply, I use my story to apply. So what happens is they tell me one interview I went for, they do social media and other things. So I applied as a business development manager. So I noticed a problem in the company, and now they asked me about my profile and how I solved certain issue. I used their problem to cite an instance, taking them using my own as a reference, but still addressing their problem. And I began to state the solutions to the problem and how it could be solved. They were just, when you caught them at their balls, they were just like, okay. So one thing for every interview, the wisdom is you use, I think I learned that also in boxing. In boxing, you punch at the same time you defend. Most times you throw a punch and expect a punch back. So it means that as your hand is going forward, your shoulder is blocking your chin, not to get punched. So it means that you use an opportunity to give an ideology and expecting a feedback. And in that feedback, you've already expected the feedback, and your answer has answered their feedback at the same time answering their question. So that is how
Nice.
usually interviews usually go. And because I understand little about people market, I go through that route. So when they're going to ask the question, I say, okay, so the next step is how do you come in? My answer has given you the answer in advance as
True.
well. So that's how it should be. That's how I usually
True.
do mine. Thank you.
Uh, thank you very, very much. He has killed two birds with one stone. So he has shown us why it's important to look up the company, research on the company you are going to interview for before you go in for the interview. And he has also shown us a wonderful way of he has also shown us a wonderful way of answering such scenario-based questions, while telling us too that we should not test him that he's a boxer. If you do anyhow, you see anyhow. So don't worry, I will not look for your trouble. I promise I will not look for your trouble. But yeah, that response was spot on. That response was spot on. Thank you very, very much. So our time has really, really flown like this thing. Okay. Okay. So Olivia's hand is up. Olivia, oh yeah, finally kill me, murder me.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay, so this, like, all the answers that everybody has been giving is
Yeah.
very, 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 I've learned a lot. But like now, like the problem I always have is
Mm,
the fact that I am transitioning from
okay.
real
Okay.
estate to tech. So
Yeah.
now I have a problem with my LinkedIn. I don't know how to like go on to show my story. I've been speaking with Thank God on this, and he's been helping me. So I've been posting so people can know that, okay, oh, this girl is looking in the software development side of things. She's trying to transition. Not like I'm
Yeah.
leaving my real estate passion, but like,
Mhm.
something else that I'm passionate about. And also, the CV, do we put this story in our CV as well? People always,
Hmm.
I've watched so many videos on YouTube on how to transition both in LinkedIn, CV wise, everywhere, but they don't, like, it's not very detailed. I still have a question about, so how do they'll say put your transferable skills. What are these
Yeah.
transferable skills? What are people looking out for? Do you understand? Like, how do we have this successful transition into where you are going, that people would not look at you as, oh, this person is too green. I don't know if she can handle it and all of that. Even when you know within yourself that you have a lot to offer, how do we, like, even the interview questions, all the answers, like the answer that films gave, even the answer that Charles gave, I don't have that answer. But how do I, you said we should come up with something, but trust me,
Mm,
I've done 10 years of real estate. I can't tell you anything that is not real estate um,
mm,
related. But now,
mm,
how do I make this my story to fit in? Like, it's such a, like, it sounds simple, but when it comes to the execution, like I mentioned in the beginning, I've done like two courses, tech
yeah.
related, product management and web development, but
Yeah.
I don't know, I never just left the ground with it. So, but like, I think I can do this, and I'm really trying to make like the research and everything on how to make this transition smooth. So how
Yeah.
do I give quality answers like the people have just given?
Okay. Okay. There was something that really caught my attention while you were talking, and I'll call it no, not I'll call it. You called it transferable skills, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So so these transferable skills are more like how do I put them now? These are things that whether you are in QA or you are in your real estate and um you developing it over 10 years in real estate is still going to be very useful when you are in the QA end of things. So one of these things I would say is more like let's say adaptability and resilience, if I'm correct. Looking at the real estate market, right? There's a whole new level of resilience that you need, especially when people are kind of like pulling back. The economy is somehow, and everybody is like,
Yes.
no, we're not buying again. No, let's save ourselves before we start doing any other thing. That kind of stuff. And looking at it from that angle, it's easy for somebody to practically give up, right? But we've had such cycles come and go. If you've been in the industry for 10 years, as you've mentioned right now, that means that you must have seen this cycle come and go like 2 times or more. There will be the boom, everybody is charging in with their millions and buying everything, and you're making commissions like crazy. And there'll be the time when everybody just pulls back, like, man, Buhari all everything kind of stuff. And everybody, like, there's the up, there's the down, there's the up, there's the down. Like, but through that, you have remained steadfast, like still doing the stuff. That means that that resilience, you don't need any new kind of resilience to come and face the Kasala in tech. Do you get? That's being able to, like, no matter the weather, I did. That kind of thing is the same resilience that you're going to carry over to the other side. The other thing there, like I said, is adaptability, which I mentioned with the way we have the booms, the market shifts, and all that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Being able to readjust. Believe me, there is it happens in tech too. There are times when it's like we are not doing anything. Everybody is on flanger mode, right? Like everybody not chilling, work is going smooth. Then there's a time when morning and night, there are days when, you see, if we're being honest with ourselves, there are some people here that know that there are some days we don't bath in the morning till night, till the next day, because we are working. They will not tell the truth, or they will not admit. Those that will admit will tell you yes. Say 24 hours pass, we no bath. That's the truth of the matter, because of the way the work is going, that kind of thing. So things like that, it happens, right? It happens that so those transferable skills, you know yourself better than I know you, right? These are just 2 that popped into my head based on what I think the real estate side of things is. Something else could be relationship building, sort of. That means that you are a good communicator, right? For you to be able to convince me to part with my money, that means that, I mean, all of you in this call, you have sweet mouths. Like this, you guys are politicians. You know how to talk very, very well, right? And that means that when it comes to the communication part of things, when a developer does stuff, you know how to correct the developer without making the developer feel bad, right? So all these things, you can buttress, build on them while you are advancing yourself technically. So we could still discuss more on this, but I hope I've been able to address your question.
So sort of you have, but it's just like the major thing is how what should my CV look like? Should I
Okay. I get what you mean now. And what's your CV? That's the tricky part. Because sometimes it's not just sometimes, most of the time we would say leave out the things that will not matter to what you're applying for, right? That's the part where you're coming from.
I And
Yeah.
it's very easy for people to like stereotype me because for the amount of time I've been doing the same thing, I've
Yeah.
been a salesperson. Everything
Yeah.
about me is sales. So how
Yeah.
can this girl come and starts and but I have there's some like you look like you sounded like you understood like what real estate is like. You have to be so many things in real estate
Yeah.
because you're dealing with human beings up
Yeah.
until they actually do what you want them to do. It's a
Yeah.
psychology thing. So
Yeah.
I that part I have it down, but how do I show this, like how this they keep telling me, oh, transferable skills. That I hate that word now because I don't even know what to do with it.
I
So
get.
I don't
I
know,
get.
am I having a new CV, or am I going to like bring my real estate into my those soft skills I've been able to learn
Yeah.
into this? And would I like my CV will not even might be like half page because then like we're just starting this, and
Yeah.
I really don't, I'm very confused, to be honest. Like this class, I thought it happened last week, and I woke up very late last week. I thought I'd
Yeah.
missed it because I really wanted to ask this question because it's eating me up.
I get. I get.
That I had to be in this class today. I don't think I've slept, so I've been waiting for this 10 o'clock. So
So
it'd
you
be nice
said,
if I can have like some sort of, I don't, maybe late, maybe if I'm taking too much time from the class, maybe later
No. No.
I
No.
can
No. No.
maybe speak
We
with you
can.
later.
We can discuss this. We can discuss this. Sorry that when you said you've not slept, I was like, really? But sorry
I
about
didn't want to miss it.
that. There's no problem. There's absolutely no problem. We can still have a deep dive on that on a personal note. But yeah, it is
I
doable.
don't know
In
if I
fact,
can, I can say something.
yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, let me give Olivia a little suggestion. Okay, um, now Olivia,
Yeah.
one thing you need to take note is the strength that you have as a real estate into tech. Most times, you are able to convert or be able to improve on your CV by the strength and the services you were able to render in real estate and how it is related to tech. So, for instance, you know how to negotiate with clients in real estate. It's the same way you can negotiate with the developer to be able to do the things that you want them to do without anybody having tension. Okay. Now, another thing you will need to look at is your ability to pass on your message. Okay, how softly are you going to pass on the message? It is these things are really related because I'm in the property business. I understand that sometimes things do not go as we plan. So most times you plan yourself ahead and plan a CV that addresses these issues. So if you're going to bring in that, transfer that into tech, it means that you are able to pass on you take look at the strength and then look at the strength as somebody who's entering tech. Which part can I put in my CV? How do I apply them in my skills? I've been designing CV for people for some while. I've been doing CV designs and all that as a business. So I understand what it means to put into CV. So it means that you have to know the strength and also look at the strength in your real estate and look at the strength how it relates to tech. Okay. The people's market is the major thing for all business. The people's market. So how you are able to understand the people's market and how you can able to relate tech and real estate. Do you understand? They are very interwoven. The only thing is that one is soft, okay? One is physical. But in fact, most of them are always soft. You get, you still negotiate with your clients online. You still negotiate with your clients through tech. Do you understand? So, and also bear in mind, see this real estate as an opportunity to see this real estate like as if you are if you're negotiating with a client online on a phone call. Imagine that the client is the one that owns the app. Imagine the client is the one that owns the property. Imagine the client is the one that owns this. Now, how you solve the problems in tech is how you solve the problems in real estate. It's almost the same thing. So, in fact, as you are doing that, as you are addressing the issues, as you're asking questions, as you're knowing the client's ordeal, you know the client's desires, you know the client's psychology. It even helps you to even know how to even design tech tech apps under real estate. So it means that everything is interwoven. Just understand what you want, know the person, know the concept, know how the person reasons, then you can know how to address your questions gradually, know how to address problems gradually. They can know how to even impute them in your CV, that when your employer sees them, he doesn't need to interview you. Your CV has done the interview. The only thing he does physically is to ask you one or two questions. You're done. It has happened to me before. I went for an interview. The man did not ask me much questions because my CV gave the answers he needed. He just asked me few things. You tell me about yourself. That is all. Then he asked me and I got the job. So it's like that. So just know the strength. The strength is how you input it into your CV, know the pros and cons. Then within the pros and cons, when you look at it, you can know which one that you can use into tech. But most of them are always interwoven because it's the people's market. Do you understand now?
Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Fins. So just to also like make sure we don't use most of our facilitators' time. And I'm going, like I promised, I'm going to create the general group and add every single person, all the facilitators, and everybody will be there. So you ask your questions. Well, Olivia, I guess you already like have an answer from Uma, from Films, and from every other person that made their contributions.
Yes.
So I arrange your CV, just yeah, you've gotten it. So yep, thank you so much. Hi Uma, you can continue.
I at, at some point I kind of like, okay, the conversation, the way we were just going, I think my head was actually heading elsewhere. And thank you for calling me back somehow. Um, so hmm, hmm, hmm. we have Esther and Abigail. Um, Abigail hasn't spoken, so let me just give her. Give me say what you want to say in 30 seconds, please.
30 seconds, you reach my turn, 30 seconds.
20 seconds. Hmm.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Get to me.
I wanted to add to what Olivia was trying to probably clarify. Okay, I'm a mom of twin, and my kids didn't start school till when they were 3. So when I ventured into the tech whole space, right from when they were little, I was one overseeing them to when they were 3. So when I ventured into, because I'm a product manager by profession and I'm a baker by entrepreneurship.
Oh,
So when
nice.
I started the whole product management journey, I started it as I took my kids as my products. That's how I built my CV because I never had
Wow.
any experience. So I took my kids as my products, like the everyday life, taking them to what they will eat, make sure I have to prioritize certain things I do to probably make them happy. So I just took them as my products. And I have like everybody has that skills in terms of when you're trying to venture into the industry. We have it just how you just have to see or learn how you relate it to the tech aspect. So that's what I did for my own situation. So I think as an estate person, probably you go for inspection, you have to inspect probably the land or probably the house. You check for, okay, let me put it in the QA aspect. You have to check for some certain things. Hope this part don't have a defect or kind of. So you can just relate that
Attention to
aspect of
details.
your, sorry.
I said attention to details. The same thing you
Yes.
need.
So just take your aspect of your estate, whatever. Look at what you do and try to relate it to the tech aspect. That's how I built my own CV, and that's how I was able to probably pass interview stage and the likes, because I try to relate it back to what I do as a mom, and I try to relate it, okay, my kids are my products. How do I, like, I can remember when I wanted to start school, I built them to a pattern that they know how to read 1 to 10. It was an achievement for me because, and they know how to write. It's an achievement because I looked at them as a product. Okay, I'm building a product, pushing them to the world at age 3 for them to start school, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
just relate all you do. It could be even just your daily activity at home. Relate it to probably the aspect of or the niche of tech you are going into. And you can just build your
Yeah.
CV around that. I remember my first CV I built was I just created one company like that and just created something, my description rule, whatever, whatever. Yeah, I put it in there as
Mhm.
my what I've done,
Yeah,
what I was able to
yeah,
achieve in the life of my kids. So that's how I just related it. So I don't know if it helps certain way. Yeah, basically that's it.
makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. That's a beautiful way to look at it too. Thank you very much, Abigail. That's amazing. So wow, I didn't expect this class to take this long. We started by 10 and this already past 12. I know, I know, I know. I think we would really, really need to open that platform where everybody can come out and speak and
Yeah, I'm going to do it
take.
now.
Yeah, surely, surely. Someone else that hasn't spoken today. Okay, Oscar, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Hello, good
Your
afternoon,
time
everyone.
starts now. Hi, good afternoon.
All right, yeah, just to add to the conversation on ground and considering our time, what I
Yeah,
would suggest, what I
yeah.
recommend, yes, all right, is look towards internship and volunteering. To start with,
Mm,
when you mention tech, tech is a very broad space. So it depends on exactly what or the area you're going into. But one way that never fails is look for internship or volunteer for that particular role you're interested in because nobody is willing to take a risk, like make payment for someone that is still a new in that particular field. For instance, I'm into tech from software now to IT leadership going to
yeah,
8 years. If I were
mm,
transitioning, say, into finance, yeah, I'm the head of IT where I work, but nobody is going to make me the head of, a bank manager just like that. I have to start from somewhere.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the finance was. And one of the ways I can start is maybe graduate internship, graduate
Mm-hmm.
trainee, just to get close, just shadowing, just to get close, understand how that stage works. Then from there, you can, you can build up your
Sure,
expertise in the things you're
sure,
transitioning. That's my
sure,
2 cents.
sure. Yeah. Thanks, Oscar. Thank you so much. Wow, in fact, how do I put it? We already have a lovely community here. See how everybody is is jumping on the bandwagon to assist Olivia. Olivia, you have plenty fans here, and I really love that. I really, really love that. Uh,
Plenty good colleagues. Thank you guys.
uh honestly, honestly,
Okay,
honestly.
just one thing, please. Attendance is here. Please kindly fill it because it's very important too. And another thing, also confirm you can see the general group now and confirm you were able to join. I'm not sending the link. Just look for the group, general group. All right, thank you guys. Sorry, we
Yes.
just. Yeah.
No problem. It's fine. I think the last person I'm going to allow to talk is Esther. She is resilient. Her hand is still up. And say that thing that you want to say.
Okay, I don't know. I just want to say something to Olivia. Like, the question she asked really
Yeah.
made sense. And even me, I feel I've been switching from one role to the other. So how was I really able to do that? Transferable skills, right? So now my little understanding about transferable skills are those skills that they are not really particular to one type of job. These are skills you could do anywhere you find yourself. Just like what you said, the detail, attention to detail, communication skills. There are a lot of things. Like me, I'm a customer service in a bank, but
Yeah.
I easily find I think I'm able to apply for administrative jobs because I feel there's something I can do there. I can relate. I don't know if you
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I feel just like the way everybody has said, oh, if she actually sits to think about it, she can find something relatable, something she feels
Yeah.
okay. software testing and finding bugs. Okay, for me as a customer care, what am I doing? I'm helping to solve problems. So it's relatable, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Esther. Thank you so much, everyone, for co-facilitating this course with me. This has been amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. So, huh, where are we? Um, where are we? So I think I asked a few questions and we answered them. And that's what led us to where we are right now. And I think the last thing I might will drop is because people carry me to where I don't know by the time we start asking questions. And so we've answered the scenario-based question. We've answered this thing. Okay. Okay. The other question, I think that one I will leave it. I will drop it on the group chat as something that we can probably wrap our heads around and discuss right there on the group chat. But beyond that, so I think I'll just say a few things while I wrap it up here. Right? I'll just say a few things up before I wrap it up. So firstly is in this QA field that we are all in and we are entering and all that. I would say that we should, as much as possible, the same way we are building up our technical skills, we should also build up our soft skills, which include communication and all that. I think that was what I started with today, how we communicate our findings and all that, to do it with grace. And the next thing there is testing is not just about finding bugs, right? We are not just there to just start pointing out everything like last month. Oh, yeah, of course, the red light was on and all that kind of stuff, but we are supposed to do way beyond that. I apologize ahead of time if there's anybody here that works in last month, but I don't see them doing anything to help our driving in the first place. What they are just doing is catching us when we've done things that we can't help ourselves with because of the situation on ground, that kind of stuff. But us as QA engineers, we're not just there to find bugs, but we should also be involved in the process improvements. You know, those things that are in your head that you think will make the solution better. Speak up, say them, and this thing. So the other thing that I have there is continuous learning. No matter the field, never stop learning. No matter whatever you're doing, never ever stop learning. Even as we are learning everything, try to, as much as possible, let's try to pick up automation early as possible. If you I'm not saying that you must do it right now, but the earlier the better. That's what I'll put out there. So I've already talked about communication. I've talked about networking and how important it is. So I think the other thing that I might just mention, is beyond looking at the task on ground, right? Sometimes we just face the task and we just clear it and all that. Let's try to know more beyond just the task, like know stuff from the business perspective. If you know where your company is heading, if you know what our end goal is. You could even realize that what we are doing at that point is counterintuitive, basically. But try to look at things from a broader picture, and you could actually become a very, very, very important part of the team, because you are making suggestions that could actually save the company millions. So I think beyond all that, I would say there's absolutely nothing that is impossible to do. I'll just close by saying a little bit from my own perspective and my own self. I didn't study computer science, right? In fact, what I studied was economics, and tech wasn't my first job. I had done other things before getting into tech. And I don't want to sound like one of those people that will be like, if I can do it, you can do it. But just I'm just saying this because it is possible. The background doesn't matter. Like I said, what we use our time to do is going to be what we become later on. When I wanted to transition and I started using my time to do something else, right? When all my time and everything was now channeled into doing tech related stuff and all that, gradually I drifted. I practically just found myself, every other thing was just heading that way. And here I am today. Sometimes if I tell somebody I studied economics, they'll not believe. They'll be like, it's a lie. This guy, you did computer science in school. But it's just that I've spent a lot of time doing software development, and over time you just realize that becomes the new you. And so know what you use your time to do. We can't use all our time and do Netflix. And I know there's Old Guard is coming out next week, I guess. We want to watch it. Everything is rolling out gradually. We want to listen. I'm not going to be one of the people that will tell you, I don't have fun. I have fun. I wind down sometimes. Every day is not for work. That sometimes you just Sunday afternoon, just chill your head before work starts again. So do your best. Whatever you put your hand into, follow through to the end. For those of us that are probably, I'm a Christian. I have a Christian background, and I remember the scripture so well that says the person that's like lays his hand to the plow and looks back is not fit for the kingdom. Whatever it is that you're doing, go all in. Don't look back. Do it and do it properly. It will definitely pay later on. It's on Netflix, not at the cinema. Thank you. So thank you everyone. And it was really, really nice spending time with you guys. Honestly, it was effortless. I didn't even know I have been sitting for more than 2 hours. And thank you so much. I hope we all had something to learn today. And over to you, my madam. Goodness.
Thank you
so much.
So much, Uma. I really appreciate this. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. This is more like everything you've done in this cohort, in this program. You just rounded everything up. And this class was so interactive that every single person has something to say. I really appreciate that. And yes, guys, our general group is up. But please, I am going to beg you from the bottom of my heart to please, okay, I'm going to send a message first for us to know what the general group is all about before we start sending messages. And please, let's avoid messages that are not called to this general group. I wouldn't call it a community yet, but let's avoid messages that are not tied to what we are doing here. All right. And please, before you post anything that has a link, let it go through the admins. Very, very important so that nobody is getting scammed. And please, let's also be careful that about the whole WhatsApp group. We don't have control over people that will reach out to you on WhatsApp group. So just be very careful not to, give your contact or give some information about yourself to anybody that you're not sure about, please. It's very important. So guys, do we have anything to say to Uma before we end the call?
Hello.
James.
Thank you, Uma.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Uma.
Thank you very much.
God bless
Thank
you,
you,
Uma.
Ma. God bless you.
God
I
bless
have
you
a
all.
question.
Thank you. Well appreciated.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I don't know if this is too sudden, but I hope I don't know when would what do you call it, after we practicalize and maybe they've given us some assignment and some practical things to do. I hope we would have the next class given to us, the next phase, so we know when the next phase is coming up.
I hope so too. But yeah, we are planning on the next phase. You'll see the announcement will come next week. We are still trying to see how we're going to put it together. We don't want to do everything together. We just want to take the tools, like Uma mentioned, that we all should also start looking at automation. Uma, please, let me even beg you now. Will you come back for API for us, just for them to understand APIs? You mentioned
Okay.
you are going to come back for it.
Yeah. No problem.